It is 6:58 a.m. and the daily grind to Maibara is in full swing. Our protagonist hits the stairs and locks onto his target, the girl from the other school. He analyzes the distance and prepares for the intercept course. He is finally standing right next to her in the splash zone. His brain runs 1,000 simulations of the perfect hello, but his vocal cords decide to go on strike. 0 words come out. He is choking under the pressure. But here is the kicker. He thinks he is stealthy, but the whole carriage is watching him like a reality TV show. The manager is losing his mind over the lack of progress, while the office lady is practically melting from the secondhand blushing. Welcome to the story of the secret supportive passengers. This obsession did not start today. 4 months ago, he memorized her schedule and her Rikudu High uniform. He calculated the exact train car she enters with mathematical precision. 3 months ago, she took a day off, and my man started panic scanning the car like he lost his wallet. The passengers caught him looking and realized this kid is absolutely down bad. 2 months ago, he secured the proximity spot. He had to fight every instinct in his body to keep a poker face and not grin like a total creep. The internal struggle was visible on his face. Fast forward to the present. The passenger council has exchanged numbers and formed a full-blown strategy team. The manager is screaming for a home run, but the office lady insists on savoring the slow burn suspense. The manager tries to demonstrate a manly confession on the office lady and immediately gets flagged for harassment. The university student has to explain that random confessions are actually terrifying. He drops some intel instead. She is a junior, meaning this train routine has an expiration date. If they do not make a move by spring, it is game over. Step 1 is simple. Just say hello. The team workshops the approach. Asking for her contact info right out of the gate is way too aggressive. He needs a natural in, or he is going to look like a weirdo. He scans for an opening. He knows he only gets 1 shot before she changes cars to avoid him. Then he spots it. A keychain. The holy grail of conversation starters. He recognizes the character and his brain short-circuits. He screams, "Ah," in the middle of a quiet train. Absolute rookie move. The council instantly starts analyzing the data. Is it a matching couple item? Nope, just a popular character from Genshin. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. His heart rate is entering the danger zone. He apologizes for the noise, sweating like he is defusing a bomb, but he does not retreat. He points to the bag and drops the question. Do you like Genshin? The die is cast, but wait. A wild manager appears. This absolute boomer thinks the boy is talking to him. He pulls out his own keychain and starts asking about her rank. The rest of the squad is roasting him in the group chat. He thinks it is a coincidence, but everyone else is just praying he stops talking. Read the room, old man. The manager spots the keychain dangling from her bag like a beacon of hope. He locks in and drops the ultimate question. Do you play Genshin? The normies in the background lose their collective minds and start calling him a boomer. But little do they know, he just revealed his power level. He is a certified man of culture. Our main guy is absolutely rattled. He is processing the data in real time, trying to figure out how his boss knows about gacha games. He never saw this redemption arc coming. And judging by that beaming smile on her face, she didn't expect to find an ally in this hostile environment either. She admits it, but then the PTSD from online forums kicks in. You can see the panic in her eyes as she starts backpedaling. She stammers out an excuse, claiming she is just a casual who hopped on the trend recently. She is terrified that he is about to quiz her on lore and revoke her gamer card right there in the office. But the manager shuts down that toxic mindset instantly. He looks her dead in the eye and declares that start dates are irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you joined yesterday or 3 years ago. If you appreciate the waifus, you are part of the squad. This is absolute Giga Chad behavior. That speech hits the guy in the corner harder than a truck-kun isekai moment. He starts sweating bullets, his brain short-circuiting as he realizes the coast is clear. It is finally safe to drop the mask and come out as a massive nerd. The manager is practically glowing like he just pulled a 5-star unit. He knows a win when he sees one. Riding that wave of confidence, our boy finally shoots his shot. He asks if she wants to link up on Genshin. The bystanders are losing their absolute minds, praying to the gacha gods for the contact info exchange. Dead silence falls over the carriage. The tension is thick enough to cut with a dull butter knife. It is the moment of truth. Then, disaster strikes. Some random grandpa thinks the invite was for him. The entire carriage immediately jumps him, screaming, "Not you, old man, sit down!" The office lady is so rattled she starts handing out her business card to thin air. The university student is just done with humanity. He looks like he is ready to uninstall the game. Thankfully, the announcer calls Sakura no Miya Station, saved by the bell. But here is the kicker. Our boy and the manager realize they are getting off at the exact same stop. Himari spots a familiar face in the chaos and launches a greeting at Nayu with the force of a sonic boom. The office lady freezes instantly, caught in 4K Ultra HD. Her brain just blue-screened in public. Our university student leans back, observing this interaction like he is narrating a National Geographic documentary on social awkwardness. He calculates the odds of intervention and decides to let nature take its chaotic course. Himari leans in, inspecting Nayu's face and asking why she resembles a ripe tomato ready to burst. Nayu attempts a denial, but let's be real, her defense stat is currently sitting at absolute 0. She is absolutely marinating in her own cringe right now. She admits she got way too hyped, thinking she was finally getting the invite to the gaming session. The secondhand embarrassment is so strong it is practically radioactive. Then the narrator suddenly hijacks the audio to promise a 20-minute love story, and even the characters look around confused, wondering who approved this script. But reality hits like a truck on the platform. The student realizes they completely fumbled the bag. They just let the target walk away without securing the digits. Mission failed. It is morning rush hour and the tension is lethal. Our guy is practically vibrating because he is stuck within breathing distance of her. Inside his head, he is screaming. After the cringe fest 3 days ago, he assumes he has been permanently banned from her social circle. Then she drops into the seat right next to him. He almost game ends right there. He instantly starts gaslighting himself, thinking it is just physics and that was the only open seat. That is some premium grade copium. Just look at that posture. He is physically shrinking, trying to disappear while thinking, who would ever want to sit near trash like me? We have to call cap on that immediately. She is not disgusted. She is actually fighting the urge to confess her undying love right here in front of commuters. She aborts the mission fast. She realizes she hallucinated an invite to play video games earlier, and now she is shaking with pure embarrassment. The student isn't buying this accidental excuse for a second. In his head, he is running the numbers and realizing this is peak social cringe. It is like waving back at someone who was actually looking at the dude behind you, and now you have to move to a new country to escape the shame. Now the poor boy is trapped in the does she or does she not limbo. The manager nods in solidarity, staring into the middle distance as he remembers his own cringy war stories from back in the day. You can practically see the PTSD in his eyes. It is a full-blown mental spiral. The imaginary rejection squad is already roasting him inside his own head, laughing at him for thinking he ever had a chance. He is basically pre-rejecting himself to save time. But the office lady defends the ship with her life. She insists sitting that close takes serious courage, basically begging the universe to let the boy take the hint. She is fighting for this romance harder than the actual couple. Suddenly, the student connects the dots. He looks around and does the math. If proximity equals affection, then what does that say about the three of them sandwiched together right now? The implication is terrifying. The manager immediately panics. He screams that he is a married man and shuts down the conversation before he catches a case. He is not trying to explain this situation to his wife later. The office lady finally snaps. You can see the veins popping in her forehead as she screams about wanting to stay delusional, but deep down her brain is running a marathon, connecting every single dot whether she likes it or not. She is mentally checking out, probably wishing she had a bottle of something strong right about now just to deal with this absolute circuit. The student decides to play Sherlock Holmes. He points out the obvious, saying the boy is easier to read than a picture book, but the girl? She is a total enigma. The manager tries to chime in with some unsolicited old man wisdom, probably thinking he is profound. But the office lady shuts that down instantly, basically telling him to take a hike before he even finishes his sentence. The vibe in the room shifts instantly. While everyone is busy psychoanalyzing her, the girl is not playing hard to get. She is straight up spiraling. She stares at the floor like it is the most interesting thing in the world, completely convinced she is the biggest loser in the room. The self-doubt is practically radiating off her. Back on the train, the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. He is sitting mere inches away, staring at the matching keychain dangling from her bag. It is the ultimate icebreaker, practically screaming at him to say hello. But does he? No. He locks up like a glitched NPC. Inside his head, the panic alarm is blaring. He knows he needs to speak up, but the terror of getting shut down has his lips sealed tighter than a bank vault. Then the self-sabotage kicks in. He convinces himself the matching gear is just a cosmic coincidence, a total accident. Look at this guy. He is staring at a massive neon green light and slamming on the emergency brakes because he thinks it is a trap. He is playing 4D chess against himself and losing. The mental gymnastics get even worse. He starts running a mental list of every popular guy at school, convincing himself he is just a background character with 0 dialogue lines compared to them. And he thinks he is invisible, completely ignoring the fact that she is sitting right there, probably wondering why he is sweating so much. It is painful to watch. While our boy is busy drowning in his own tears, he is completely missing the meta. Some random bystander with eagle eyes spots a reflection in the window. Wait, hold up. Is she sliding a secret note into that book?
He activates his zoom enhancement and reads the text. I also like you. Boom, there it is. The confession he has been simulating in his head for years. We are talking absolute victory royale right here.
The dude watching from the sidelines literally forgets how to breathe. He thinks he just witnessed the greatest clutch play in romantic history, but then reality comes in with a steel chair. Look at the other passengers. That is not a handwritten love letter. It is literally just the title of a best-selling romance novel everyone is reading. He almost gets sent to the lobby from pure cringe. She is just reading a book, not confessing her soul. He has to manually reboot his brain. No more delusions. The only way to win this game is to actually step up and ask for the digits for real. Himari catches Nayu navigating the courtyard on autopilot, her face completely swallowed by that paperback. She is walking with 0 situational awareness, practically begging for a collision event. Himari watches the scene, calculating the odds of Nayu walking straight into a wall. She peeks at the page, spots the confession line, and the title clicks instantly. Nayu goes full lore dump mode. She explains it is a classic train romance, and the level of obsession here is off the charts. She is not just reading it, she is living it. Nayu gets so worked up breaking down the plot that she starts gasping for air like a fish out of water. Himari is standing there, genuinely concerned she is witnessing a medical emergency. But false alarm, folks. She is just simping over a fictional boyfriend with 0 chill. Himari innocently asks if this romantic scenario happened to her, and Nayu takes that personally. She screams the correction at the top of her lungs. It is for the main character. The secondhand embarrassment is real, and the delusion is strong with this one. She slams her face into that book like it is a bunker, trying to delete reality right now. In her head, she knows she is not some smooth main character with plot armor. She is panicking, sweating bullets, treating this awkward social interaction like a boss battle she is underleveled for. The train passengers hit the local cafe and immediately set up a tactical war room to break down the footage. The office lady is demanding answers like she is interrogating a suspect. The manager is convinced the girl is down bad, absolutely simping. Meanwhile, the student looks at his watch and realizes the grim truth. They are all late for work because they got too invested in the drama. The night is barely getting started, and the final boss, his mom, is already aggroing from the other room. She is screaming that if he sleeps through his alarm, he is on his own. Classic mom move. But Hikichi is not stressing about grades or attendance records. His brain is running a completely different simulation. He is terrified of missing his one window of opportunity to see her. Then, absolute catastrophe. He looks down at his notebook and his soul leaves his body. He completely ghosted his English homework. You can see the color drain from his face as the realization hits him like a truck. Cold sweat starts beading on his forehead because he knows the stakes. One slip up here, and his GPA is getting sent straight to the lobby. He shifts gears and locks in. The look in his eyes changes from panic to pure, unadulterated focus. He is calculating the exact amount of caffeine needed to survive a brutal all-nighter. He swears right then and there that he will not sleep until the job is done. He refuses to be even 60 seconds late for that morning train. Missing that girl? That is simply not in the script. The train rattles along with the usual rhythm. Wheels clack, heads bob, everyone is stuck in the NPC loop. But suddenly the vibe shifts. The passengers look up from their screens. They sense a disturbance in the force. They realize they are trapped in a main character moment. Look at this absolute disaster. Hikichi is already failing his mission. He is out cold, drooling in the danger zone right next to her. She freezes up, holding her breath like she is defusing a bomb. She is sweating bullets. Then, the system reboots. One eye snaps open like a cyborg. She whispers a tiny wake-up call, and the man ejects from his seat like he sat on a landmine. Pure terror. He frantically scans his memory banks. Did he drool? Did he snore? The silence in the air is so heavy it could crush a tank. The spectators are eating this up like popcorn. They call it bittersweet youth, but Hikichi calls it a tactical failure. He punishes himself with 2 sharp slaps to the cheeks. He swears on his ancestors he will not get sent to the lobby by the Sandman again. That vow lasts exactly 10 seconds. His head starts drooping like a wilted flower. The crowd is mentally screaming at him to lean right, straight onto the waifu's shoulder. But gravity is a cruel mistress. He tips left straight toward a random NPC. The audience is absolutely devastated. The PA system saves him from a harassment lawsuit. He panics and checks the station name. Safe. He blames the warm sun and the train's vibration for nerfing his stats. Then, his brain cooks up a galaxy brain solution. If he stops trying to stay awake, he won't sleep. Wow. Give this man a Nobel Prize. He executes the ultimate defense. The window lean. He wedges himself against the glass to block the fall. The crowd riots. They didn't pay for safety, they paid for romance. The old man in the corner demands he stop being a gentleman and start making some happy accidents. But the blonde strategist in the back has a theory. He tells everyone to chill out. There is a sharp curve coming up after the tunnel. He calls it Operation Centrifugal Force. He breaks down the physics like a professor. When they hit that turn, inertia becomes the ultimate wingman. Contact is mathematically guaranteed. The train dives into the darkness, and the G-force starts climbing like a rocket. The car shakes violently. Hikichi's body lifts off the seat. He starts drifting toward her like a magnet. The crowd is screaming for him to let go and trust the physics engine. But physics does not discriminate. The sway hits everyone like a truck. The old manager gets crushed in the mosh pit and starts turning blue. Hikichi ends up apologizing to the whole car. So much for the perfect romantic landing. The train ride turns into a full-blown mental cage match. Hikichi is spiraling inside his own head, absolutely convinced he just nuked his chances by using her shoulder as a pillow. He is sweating bullets, terrified she is going to ghost him the second the sun comes up. He decides to rip the band-aid off. He stands up, knees probably shaking, and awkwardly mentions it is her stop. She just sits there, frozen like a statue, staring at him while her brain tries to reboot. System restored. She screams a thank you loud enough to rattle the windows, covers her face in absolute shame, and sprints through the doors like she is escaping a maximum security prison. Hikichi is practically vibrating with excitement because she finally acknowledged his existence. Meanwhile, on the platform, she is hyperventilating, terrified she just exposed herself as a total stalker. The romance is real, folks. He is hyped she knows his station while she is praying to every god out there that it is not weird. Their hearts are beating so loud you can practically hear the thumping through the screen. The background characters are losing their collective minds. They are demanding a video replay of the interaction, but the hall monitor steps in to shut down the paparazzi before things get too spicy. It is 6:30 in the morning, way too early for functioning brain cells, but the TV is feeding his delusions. The horoscope announcer is practically screaming through the screen. Cancer is ranked #1, the stars are aligning. They are basically commanding him to stop being a coward and finally make a move on his crush. He starts hyping himself up. Is this it? Did destiny finally decide to stop ghosting him? Then logic wakes up and slaps him across the face. Statistically speaking, horoscopes are just vague trash designed to bait lonely people. But then, a heavy thump hits his chest. It is not just anxiety. He is not the only one. Every single person in the city freezes, feeling the air get heavy as the atmosphere shifts instantly. He locks onto the target reading nearby. The tactical plan is simple. wait for the approach, act casual, and thank her for yesterday. Totally normal human behavior. Not weird at all. But naturally, the universe hates him. Before he can even rehearse the line in his head, the train hits the station. He is officially out of time. The crowd starts flooding out like NPCs. He realizes that if he does not act right this second, he is going to regret this fumble for the rest of his life. He forces his body to move, hyping himself up like a prize fighter. He opens his mouth to be charming, but the pressure snaps his brain in half. He screams "Good morning" at absolute max volume. Smooth, real smooth. Fate decides to double down on the cringe. Look who just spawned in. It is the Genshin uncle, back for round 2. The boy freezes, praying it is a glitch in the matrix, but the peanut gallery confirms the target. He calculates his escape route, but his legs are lagging. The office lady runs the diagnostics. Matching keychains? Check. Terrible timing? Double check. She tries to dismiss the horoscope as superstition, but the evidence is piling up like unread emails. She realizes the universe is plotting a comedy sketch at their expense. The boy forces a smile so painful it physically hurts to look at. His facial muscles are screaming for mercy. Then the manager drops a bombshell. The girl was standing ahead of them. The positioning does not add up. He realizes the spatial awareness is all wrong. Meanwhile, the target is overheating. She is redder than a stop sign on a hot day. The spectators are debating the meta. Is the boy's politeness a buff or a debuff? If he is too nice, he gets friend-zoned by proxy. It is a high-risk strategy with zero payout. Here is the nightmare scenario. If she thinks they are besties, she gives up her seat. Result? The uncle locks in that spot forever. Permanent third wheel status unlocked. He visualizes a future of awkward train rides and wants to self-delete. But then the uncle drops the magic words. Limited time event. The boy's gamer brain overrides his social anxiety instantly. He snaps into focus and they start geeking out so hard the girl starts vibrating. The priority list just shifted from romance to loot boxes. He starts gushing about his waifu like he is writing a fanfic. The crowd calls it a love confession, but bro is just talking about pixels. The girl is listening in and she is absolutely shook. She realizes he has more chemistry with a JPEG than with actual humans. She wants to join the lobby so bad. The manager is screaming at him to focus on the 3D girl, but she just wants to share the passion. She wonders what it feels like to connect. She is mentally drafting her own character build just to fit in. She is building up the courage, imagining a perfect morning routine. Then the uncle ruins it with the creepiest phrasing in human history. I want to play with you. Everyone's soul leaves their body. The cringe levels are critical. He doubles down. He asks for the schedule. He wants to sync up. The spectators are weeping. This is the death of the romance arc. You can practically hear the sad violin music playing in the background. It is the ultimate choice. Lie and save the vibe, or tell the truth and doom himself. He looks at the tracks, calculates the odds, and admits it. Every single morning. He just signed his own death warrant. Panic mode engaged. The train jolts, he tries to backpedal, but the words are already spilling out like spaghetti. He tries to reload the save file, but the game has already auto-saved. She whips around. He panics and pivots to small talk about commute times. The office lady is confused, the girl is spiraling, and the social awkwardness level is over 9,000. The atmosphere is so thick you could cut it with a dull spoon. Genshin Ojizan throws up a peace sign and cements his legacy instantly. The man is a literal deity walking among us. The entire crew is clutching their chests, physically overwhelmed by the sheer power of his wingman energy. He played their hearts like a fiddle and looked good doing it. Fast forward 24 hours, and we are back to square one. She curls up in the corner, burying her face in her bag, convinced she is the biggest idiot on earth. The gap between them is massive, and even the bystanders are disappointed by the fumble. You hate to see it.